Listen closely, because the landscape in Indianapolis is shifting right under our feet. We are talking about major personnel changes that are going to dictate the trajectory of our upcoming season. From trade blocks to emotional retirements, the front office is not sitting idle, and frankly, neither should we. This is the kind of high-stakes football business that defines legacies. Before we dive into these massive developments, I need every single one of you blue-blooded fans to help us hit our milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Join the community now to ensure you never miss these exclusive, hard-hitting updates. This is a bombshell that hits the very core of the defensive identity we have built here in Indianapolis. On March 7th, 2026, the wires exploded with the news that Zaire Franklin has been traded to the Green Bay Packers. In exchange, the front office has acquired defensive tackle Colby Wooden. Let me be absolutely clear about what this means. You are taking a leader, a heartbeat of this unit, and shipping him out for interior line depth. I am sitting here asking myself what the ultimate vision is for this defense. Zaire Franklin was not just a linebacker. He was the signal caller, the guy in the middle who understood the scheme better than the coaches themselves. To see him walk away in a trade is a staggering reality check for this fan base. You look at the production, the grit, and the sheer tenacity he brought to the field every single Sunday, and you realize that replacing that level of communication is not an overnight job. The Packers are getting a steal, a guy who changes the culture of a locker room the moment he walks through the door. Meanwhile, we are looking at Colby Wooden coming into a system that expects immediate results. Is the staff trying to get bigger? Are they trying to prioritize the trenches over the second level? It is a bold move, but it is one that carries significant risk. When you lose a player who commands the huddle, you are not just losing stats, you are losing a piece of the team's soul. The intensity required to win in this league is high, and Zaire Franklin provided that in spades. Now, the front office has to answer for why they deemed him expendable in this specific window. Was there a disagreement on his future role? Was this purely a financial decision to balance the books? Whatever the reason, the locker room is going to feel this loss immediately. Every player in that facility is looking at their phone today wondering if they are next on the chopping block. It is a cold business, but this level of turnover is exactly why championships are so hard to secure. We are watching a total restructuring of the defensive identity in real time, and it leaves me questioning if the leadership truly understands the vacuum they have just created. If you thought this was the only shockwave heading your way, you are dead wrong, because the news cycle is just getting started. What happens when the foundation of the offensive line also begins to crumble? If you want to keep getting exclusive insights like this, subscribe now to our channel. Join the true insiders of the game and make sure you are always ahead of the curve. Just as the dust settles on that defensive trade, we get hammered with another massive blow to the heart of the roster. A former Pro Bowl center, the anchor of our line for years, has officially announced his retirement. This is a man who stood in the gap, protected the quarterback, and set the protections for an entire generation of our offense. When a player of this caliber steps away, it is not just a roster spot opening, it is a void that is nearly impossible to fill. You look at his accolades, you look at the Pro Bowls, and you realize you are watching the end of an era. The tributes are pouring in, and rightfully so, because he was the definition of consistency in a league defined by chaos. But let us be honest about the implications here. The transition from a veteran anchor to whoever takes that snap next is where games are won or lost. The chemistry between the center and the quarterback is the most underrated aspect of professional football. Now we are looking at a complete rebuild of the communication structure at the line of scrimmage. It is an absolute nightmare for a coaching staff trying to implement a new offensive identity. You have to wonder if this retirement was the final straw that forced the front office to reconsider their entire strategy for the upcoming season. How do you replace that kind of football IQ? You can draft a kid with all the physical tools in the world, but you cannot draft experience, and you cannot draft the respect of a locker room. That is earned over thousands of snaps in the trenches, the kind of work that leaves you bruised and battered, yet standing tall. This departure is going to force the hand of the general manager in ways we cannot even imagine yet. Are they going to be aggressive in free agency? Are they going to burn draft capital to find a replacement? The pressure is mounting, and the window of opportunity is beginning to look smaller by the day.
We are talking about a legacy that deserves to be honored. But in the NFL, the clock never stops ticking. The moment the tribute ends, the next man up is expected to be a hero. It's a brutal standard, but that is the life of a professional athlete. Now that we've addressed the loss of our anchor, we have to look at the even more disturbing trend emerging within the facility. Is anyone safe on this roster right now?
If you thought the departure of Zaire Franklin and the retirement of our star center were the end of the turmoil, you have not been paying attention to the real narrative. My sources are telling me that the front office is now actively discussing trade offers for our primary defensive leader. We are talking about a guy who has been the pillar of the defensive front, a player whose presence alone commands a double team on every single snap. This is not just a rumor. This is a calculated, cold-blooded discussion happening behind closed doors. You have to ask yourself, what is the end game here? If you are shopping your most valuable defensive asset, you are clearly signaling a total rebuild. You are telling the fans that the current window is closed. To lose a leader like that, after already losing so much experience elsewhere, is a move that could set the franchise back years. I am looking at the potential return, and honestly, no amount of draft picks justifies losing a cornerstone who sets the standard for everyone else in the building. It is a sign of a front office that is desperate to pivot, but the cost of that pivot is the competitive integrity of this season. Every single fan in this city should be outraged that we are even having this conversation. This is a guy who plays through pain, who leads by example, and who represents the standard of excellence we expect. If the team moves him, they are effectively conceding that they are not ready to compete at the highest level. The domino effect of these three stories is clear. We are watching a total teardown. First the linebacker, then the anchor of the offensive line, and now the heart of the defensive front. It is a systematic dismantling of our identity. I have covered this league for a long time, and I know exactly what this looks like. It looks like a team that is terrified of mediocrity, so they are burning the house down to avoid it. But you can't win championships with empty rooms. You need stars, you need veterans, and you need continuity. By trading away the guys who provide all of that, the front office is putting themselves in a position where they have zero margin for error. If these trades do not pan out, if these draft picks do not become immediate superstars, the entire leadership structure is going to have to answer for this. It is a gamble of epic proportions, and frankly, I'm not sure they have the cards to win. This is a pivotal moment that will be remembered for years to come. We are witnessing the raw, unfiltered business side of the NFL in the worst way possible. The question I have for all of you is simple. Do you believe this aggressive restructuring is the right path forward, or is the front office destroying the team we love? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I want to hear from every single one of you. This community is the backbone of our coverage, and your voices matter more than ever during this turbulent time. Stay tuned, stay informed, and keep the faith as we navigate this offseason together. We are in this for the long haul, regardless of the changes at the top.